ChatGPT has been around for about a year now, and in this video I want to share my experience with ChatGPT in combination with Google Ads, how we are using it here at CartLift, managing almost $1 million in monthly ad budgets for our e-commerce clients, the type of work that we use ChatGPT for, how often we do so. So hopefully you will have some ideas on how you might use ChatGPT in ways for yourself, for your brand, for your agency, whatever. And little sort of disclaimer up front, we're actually not using it that much anymore. So with that being said, let's get started right away. So let's maybe get started first of all with the type of work that we here at CartLift are doing with ChatGPT. So when it got started, when we used it for the first time, maybe you know that we wanted to do like everything with it, right? We wanted to try writing headlines. We asked it to propose like the ideal Google Ads campaign structure. We asked it for overall strategies for several clients, but very quickly we realized, okay, that's not really working that well, right? Very quickly we realized that ultimately we are the ones having to change it manually. We have to come up with a strategy. We have to fix a lot of these headlines. And the type of work that we use it for right now is a lot more, I would say, technical and a lot more sort of for inspiration, if you like. So to give you an example, I might ask ChatGPT for some ideas for like brief ad angles for a certain product. So let's say there is a client, that client sells, I don't know, health-related products, or that client sells a certain supplement, right? We can ask ChatGPT, okay, what are some ideas, like what are some ad angles? So how would you go about advertising that product? And then it gives like a very brief, generic sort of outline that serves just as the first entry point for us. Once we have that, and once we maybe have a few ideas, then we take things forward, right? Another way or another use case for ChatGPT for Google Ads for us would be that we ask it for some initial keyword research. So of course, we still do most of the keyword research with the keyword planner manually, but every now and then we ask ChatGPT, or I also ask ChatGPT for like keyword clusters. So let's say there's a certain topic, someone is selling sneakers, for example, right? I asked ChatGPT, hey, can you come up with a bunch of keyword clusters around that topic, sorted from like most relevant to broadest? And then it does exactly that. And that's like a fairly good starting point, right? It basically saves you some time. It's nothing super fancy there. So it's not that this is like a super high value task, but it can be quite interesting when you are looking for like ad group ideas, campaign ideas, etc., to ask it for keyword clusters and to prepare a little bit of that work for you. Another thing that we do is we get inputs from ChatGPT based on client landing pages. So let's say we have a client with a very extensive landing page, very long, lots of like long form copy. We paste it into ChatGPT to get like ChatGPT's take on what the client sells, what it's about, etc. First of all, of course, in order to prepare our first ad campaigns, but second of all, also to check whether we believe that the landing page gives or has like all the necessary points, because I find that ChatGPT is a fairly good indicator on whether what you put on your landing page is very clear and concise. So if ChatGPT thinks that you sell something very different to what you actually sell, which rarely happens, but that's an indicator for you not being specific enough about what you sell and not highlighting the benefits enough, and so on and so forth. So we regularly do little landing page analysis with ChatGPT and then put it into ads or into ideas for our conversion rate optimization stuff, which we do for a bunch of clients as well. And then two more things that I use it for a lot in like a work context, but not necessarily super Google Ads related all the time. First of all, to make summaries, right? With long text, long descriptions, very long form text, like, hey, just give me the 3 most important points here. And second of all, which I use it quite a bit for, is like technical issues, like things with tracking, error messages, coding related things. I find ChatGPT to be super useful here, and more often than not, I manage to work around certain issues that way that were quite difficult to find on Google. And that's where I think ChatGPT is like super helpful. So with that being said, let's look into how often we use ChatGPT here at CartLift as the second part of that. We use it a lot less often than we used to. I remember when it came out, I used it like every day, all the time. I wanted to learn everything about it and what you can do with it because it was so special. And literally month after month after month, I used it less and less and less and less. And now at this point, probably like once a week or something like that, twice a week, right? In terms of very quick questions, maybe sometimes a bit more often, but when it comes to actual like work and Google Ads related things, maybe like once a week, really. So there was like a shift over time where we actually started to do more and more stuff fully manually again. And we only get like inspirations and brief ideas and brief outlines, but literally almost anything that happens in an actual Google Ads account is like handwritten or greatly modified or things like that. Not because the tool is bad, but sometimes it's literally faster, easier, better to do those things yourself after you have some ideas and inspirations that you got from ChatGPT. So a lot less often and fairly infrequent and irregular, I would say. There are times a lot more, and then probably for 1.5 weeks we don't use it at all, right? So last but not least, let's talk about what I think will come next in regards to those like large language models and how will they impact PPC, maybe digital marketing as a whole. Of course, these tools like ChatGPT, Bard, etc., they will just get better over time. So it's very safe to say that they will eventually do some of the things that I mentioned better than we are doing them right now. Will this happen next year, in 2 years, 3 years, whatever? I don't know. But of course, they will get a lot better. What I feel, at least for the moment though, is that they are much better at things like long form copy. So when you write like an entire landing page, or when you write like a script, or when you write like a sales letter, there they are pretty helpful because they have like an entire structure of text, a long wall of text. It saves you a lot of time. It is a great starting point. Whereas with Google, you usually write short text pieces, whether it's in a headline, in a description, in a discovery headline, discovery text, performance max assets. It's always fairly short. It's always like, between 30 and 90 characters pretty much most of the time, right? And there I feel that for the moment, it's not really that useful. In the beginning, again, I used it more often and for ideas, to give me like 10 headline ideas, just as I have had this video a couple months ago where I talked about that. But at this point in time, most of the time we write it ourselves, simply because I feel at this point that ChatGPT is not the ideal tool for this very short form copy, where you have a lot of headlines, a lot of text, but all very short. So long form, I think, great stuff for ChatGPT. Another thing that's pretty great and is getting a lot better is anything in regards to design, wallpapers, images, mockups, things like that. Midjourney and all those other tools are getting really strong. So that is something where I see a lot of sort of progress in that sense when it comes to digital marketing as a whole. But I'm very curious to see how this goes for Google Ads specifically, because what I feel is, first of all, as I said, short form copy. But in Google Ads, you make a lot of, small changes here and there. You change bidding strategies, you set a few negative keywords, you change the bid, you restructure a campaign, you do all those things, and those are a lot of small sort of steps. And I feel that the AI is better at having like one sort of longer task, whether it's a very long sales copy or designing like an entire sort of brand identity or something like that, and all those small things that on like a campaign, ad group, ad keyword level, there are a lot of small steps involved. And I feel like it's not ideal for that type, the AI is not ideal for that type of work yet. Of course, one little disclaimer, it might very well be that Google includes those things inside Google Ads directly. I mean, they are at the forefront of AI, so it's quite likely that they put something like an AI assistant right into Google Ads, and then you don't even need that bridge like ChatGPT to Google Ads or Bard to Google Ads anymore, because Bard literally is inside of Google Ads. That's something that I could imagine where you tell Bard, hey, please create a campaign for this and that, and it literally takes 30 seconds, and then you have like a search campaign with all the keywords and all that stuff laying around. That's something that I could very well imagine. How well this might work in the end, I don't know. Probably there is still quite some room for manual optimization, changes, adjustments, bidding, creatives, etc. But that's something that I could really imagine. So how about you? How are you using large language models or AI in general in your Google Ads campaigns, in your e-commerce business right now? Of course, there are many areas where you can use it very well. Product descriptions, copy, support, even marketing. So let me know in the comments how you're using it, how often you're using it. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please subscribe for more Google Ads and performance marketing content for e-commerce. And if you want us to help you with your e-commerce brand and scale it with next level Google Ads, check the link in the description. And if you want to do it yourself and learn how to do so specifically tailored to e-commerce brands, check the second link in the description where you can find my training, the eCom PPC Academy, for more info and cutting edge strategies on how to do just that. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video again. Bye-bye.